Okay, guys, so I wanted to quickly jump in and show you guys exactly how to get through round 2 of our packet. So for round 1, we should have a set of boxes on the front that look like, hold on, it's going to come into focus. We're going to unblur this real quick. 1 second. None. There we go. So you should have a packet that has a bunch of boxes on it. Yours should be completely filled in at this point with your slopes. And again, you got the slopes from this graph where you got your initial ducks in the game of Duck Hunt with your hunter at 0, 0. So every shot, if this was shot 1, you would take your coordinates from shot 1 and your coordinates from where you shot from, and that's where you're finding those slopes that you would do on the back side of that paper. For round 2, we are doing something very similar, except we're going to use the point slope form this time, which is that equation, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, and it says in this section we're using our data from round 1. So we're using the slope that you got for each one of those guys. Okay, so what you're going to do is you are going to, again, play your game of Duck Hunt. So I'm going to take a quick shot here. Let me share my screen with you guys. There we go. So we're playing our game of Duck Hunt. Game's coming up. We'll mute that. That was a little aggressive. Hit my first duck, okay? And where I hit him, on my graph, which we're going to be using this on the next page, that duck I got right about here. Okay, so I'm going to hit shot number 1, and I'm going to label my coordinate. This one was about, we'll go 5 to the right and 6 up. Okay, so 5 to the right and 6 up is where my first shot was. And I can go all through real quick and do my 10 shots on Duck Hunt, mark where I hit my duck each time, label them out so I have them all so I can just do the work. That's totally fine. You don't have to do them one at a time like I'm doing them. But there's my first shot, and the coordinate was 5, 6. Okay, so from there, I am going to mark it on my guy right here, about 5, 6, shot 1, 5, 6. Boom, right there. Shot 1, 5, 6. Now I'm going to turn from this graph, just turn it over, and that's where I show my work for each one. Okay, and I'm going to show my work for you guys instead of on the back of my page, on the next slide of my Nearpod, so you guys can see me work out the whole thing real quick. Okay, so I need to flip all the way back to my round 1 data, again, which is, my round 1 data is going to be right here. So for shot 1 of my round 1 data right here, it says my slope that I originally got there was 11/5. So that's the slope I'm going to use for round 2. So I'm going to write in my slope, which matches my packet work, was 11/5. And my shot was at 5 over 6 up. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to use these as my inputs. This would be my x1, this would be my y1, and we're going to put it in my equation. Y minus y1 equals my slope times the x minus the x1. Okay, now from here I'm going to plug it in. Here's my 11/5. X, my x1 is right there, which is 5. My y1 is right here, which is 6. Okay, and now that I've got everything input into that equation, I do what I always do. I distribute This becomes 11 over 5x minus 11 times negative 5 is a negative 55 over the denominator, which is 5. And I still have my y minus 6 over here. I'm going to put this into my calculator and see what it spits out. So we're going to move our work up here so I have more space. So I have my y minus 6 equals 11 over 5. And when I put negative 55 divided by 5 into my calculator, I get minus 11. Okay. Now at that point, if you got a decimal, like let's say it was like 3.25, just leave it as 3.25 and just finish it off from there. To finish it off, all we need to do now is slide this guy over by adding its opposite. That goes away, and I would be done. 11 fifths x, and negative 11 plus 6 is going to be a negative 5. And that's what I would put as my answer in box 1 of my round 2 paperwork, which is right here. So I'd put it inside of that box right there. Okay. Let me go back real quick because I realized you might not have seen that share. So I will just do it all one more time for you, just to belabor the point. Okay. So for number 1, again, if my slope was 11 fifths and my point was 5, 6, kind of in rush time, I got my equation is y minus y1 equals my slope times x minus my x1. So this becomes y, this is my y1 minus 6 equals my 11 fifths, which is my slope, times x minus my x1, which is 5. Okay, I distribute in, and I get y minus 6 equals my 11 over 5x. 11 times negative 5 is negative 55, and I put it over my denominator. Okay, I throw this into my calculator. I get y minus 6 equals 11 over 5x minus 11. Okay, if it was a decimal, leave it as a decimal. That's fine. We're going to add 6 to both sides. That goes away, and I'm left with y equals 11 over 5x minus 5. And again, that's what I would put in my box. Okay, and that is that, guys. That's how you do each one. So you do that for all 10 of your shots. Then you have a quick homework assignment, and you are through round 2. Well done.